Growing up, I had a very good friend that happened to be Jewish. I was always curious about her beliefs, her customs, and her celebrations, but she didn't talk much about them. And I didn't want to pry, but I was curious. These were the days before Google and Siri, so where do you go for such answers? I turned to my pastor. Pastor, tell me about Hanukkah. He looked at me kind of confused and then replied, Oh, it's the Jewish Christmas. End of story. It would not be until I came to Clarion and was embraced by another group of wonderful Jewish friends that I continued my quest. And what I discovered was an incredibly interesting story. Back in the centuries before Christ, when the Greeks dominated that part of the world and sought to Hellenize or make it Greek, there arose in the Syrian part of that empire one Antiochus IV, one of the most notorious figures in all of Scripture and Jewish history. Antiochus nicknamed himself Epiphanes, God in flesh. Yeah, the man had no trouble with his ego. One of the things that Antiochus did was try to eradicate the Jewish faith. It was suppressed, it was outlawed. And perhaps worst of all, he made the Jews sacrifice to the Greek gods in the Jewish temple. A desolating sacrilege. A revolt ensued, led by a family called the Maccabees, and Antiochus was overthrown, and Jerusalem and the temple retaken. And the first thing that had to be done was a purification of the temple, and a rededication, to get the temple back up in working order. They restored the altar of the Lord, but when they went to light the menorah, the candles, they found that there was only enough oil for one night. They lit the candle, and it remained burning for 8 days, until the stores of oil in the temple could be replenished, and the light continued to burn. As I remembered that story again in preparation to join my Jewish brothers and sisters in celebrating this season of Hanukkah that begins tonight, I realized how poignant it was in light of what we have been through as a nation recently, both politically, religiously, and not to mention that confounded COVID virus. For it is a story of hope and promise and resiliency. A story that we would do well to spend some time with in the next few days. To remember what it is to live into the light. The light of one candle is not much until you find yourself in utter darkness. And then it's amazing how much light one little candle can give off. In our baptismal rite, we conclude by lighting a small candle and calling upon the baptized to let their lights so shine before others that others may see in them the very glory of God, the light of God. It is a time for us to rededicate, to risk lighting that one candle, and to dare walk in the light of the Lord. in the way of justice and mercy and loving kindness and shalom. To be that light shining in the darkness. With the promise of Isaiah that this light that shines in the midst of a darkened world will not go out. Not only that, but in lighting one candle, we are able to light others as well. And who knows what will happen then? So let us pause and remember a miracle. Rededicate ourselves and then walk into the darkness and let the light of Christ that is in, with, and through us banish the darkness. Light one candle to watch for Messiah. Let the light banish darkness. He shall bring salvation to Israel. God fulfills the promise. Light two candles to watch for Messiah. Let the light banish darkness. He shall feed the flock like a shepherd, gently lead them homeward. Light three candles to watch for Messiah. Let the light banish darkness. Lift your heads and lift high the gateway for the King of glory. Light four candles to watch for Messiah. Let the light banish darkness. He is coming, tell the glad tidings. Let your light be shining.